Welcome to Becoming Boss C. Do you often think you have to answer almost every question correctly to think you are making progress with your studies? Or that you have to answer every question in the test bank to be fully prepared for an exam? I just became a certified internal auditor, and I thought the same way as I was preparing for my CIA exams. And I am proof that you do not have to practice taking the CIA exam perfectly to become a certified internal auditor. This video will show you how to properly prepare to pass the CIA exam and become a certified internal auditor without expecting perfection. If you watch to the end, you will also see my actual test bank performance, how many questions I answered correctly, and how many questions I answered incorrectly. Before I teach you how to prepare for the CIA exam, do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more informative videos. Okay, let's get to it. This was my study method for the CIA exam. First, you will want to read the Institute of Internal Auditors Professional Standards, especially if you are studying for parts 1 and 2. Now, fortunately, the professional standards will be discussed throughout your study materials. However, reading the standards by themselves first will allow you to review them when you actually read your study materials. The professional standards can be found on the IA's website, and I will leave a link in the video description as well. So if professional standards are not already included in your study materials, then you have the option to access them online. And this is how the professional standards website looks. After the reading of the professional standards, you are ready to read the first lesson of the study book. Immediately after reading the lesson, watch the related video lecture for a deeper analysis of what you just read. Watching videos engages your auditory and visual senses. So if you are an auditory learner, then watching video lectures is ideal and fit for you. Now that you have read the lesson and watched the video lecture for the first lesson, you can answer a handful of multiple choice questions related to the lesson to ensure that you understand and comprehend what you learned. You are going to repeat this process for all sections in your study materials until you reach the final lesson. At this point, it is time to review all of the lessons and exam topics. Since you have already read the study book and watched all video lectures, you can tackle the test bank. The test bank provides you with the ability to create an unlimited number of custom assessments using a collection of multiple choice questions that are similar to the same questions you will see on the actual Certified Internal Auditor Exam. When answering questions, you do not have to answer correctly. However, you should aim to practice narrowing the answers down to the best 2 choices. Again, practice does not have to be perfect to become a certified internal auditor. What makes a passing score and what creates success is understanding why you answered questions correctly or incorrectly. After answering a question, it is vital that you read the answer explanation to determine why a choice was correct and why the others were incorrect. How many questions should you answer? Well, keep in mind that some test banks include thousands of multiple choice questions, and it may not be reasonable to spend almost 1 year answering over 3,000 questions to prepare for one part of the exam. Stay tuned and I will show you how many questions I actually answered for part 3. I recall answering at least 800 questions for part 1 and a little over 1,000 questions for part 2. In hindsight, I really probably did not have to answer that many practice questions to prepare, but I wanted to be over prepared. So if you're like that, then fine, answer as many questions as you would like. After you finish answering questions in the test bank, then you should review by reading focus notes. If your study materials do not come with focus notes, then you can finish your review by reviewing your personal notes and then scan through the study book to refresh your memory. After your review of notes, you are now ready to take the practice exam. Treat the practice exam as if you are taking the real CIA exam. So block out at least 2 hours to take the exam. Sit in a quiet area where you cannot be easily distracted or contacted. So you do not want to take the exam during a busy part of your day. After taking the practice exam, review every question. For part 1, I want you to review each of the 125 questions. Even if you answered them correctly, you should still review them. If you are taking part 2 or part 3, you will only be reviewing the 100 multiple choice questions. You should review them to understand why the answer is correct and why the other options are incorrect. You do not have to answer perfectly on your practice exam, but you should learn from your mistakes and incorrect answers. Lastly, you can begin your final review procedures. So, you will want to revisit the exam topics that you did not answer correctly on the practice exam. This includes watching the associated video lectures for a second time and or reading the study materials again for those specific topics. For a more comprehensive review, read the exam syllabus for your exam part or exam section. The syllabus can be accessed online on the IIA's website. I will include a link to the CIA exam syllabi in the video description as well. Do not forget this step. Do not skip it. The exam syllabus outlines the key topics that will be tested on your exam. You will want to read the syllabus and make sure you understand topics at either a basic or proficient level. Finally, remember to answer a handful of questions leading up to test day. Do not overwhelm yourself or cram, but you should take your time to answer a few questions prior to test day. As promised, I have inserted my test bank statistics from part 3 of the CIA exam. The test bank I used came with over 4,500 multiple choice questions, which was initially very daunting and intimidating. I knew for sure that I was not going to answer all of those questions, but it was nice to have the option to answer an endless amount of questions. Under the percentage of completion field, you can see the percentage of questions I answered for each domain. Remember, perfect practice is not practical. I did not answer all 4,500 questions. Specifically, I did not answer 55% of the test bank, and I only answered 45% of the test bank. But that was still well over 1,000 questions. Now, let's look at my accuracy levels. For domain 1, business acumen, I answered 68% of the questions correctly. For domain 2, information security, I answered 71% correctly. Domain 3, information technology, 67%. And domain 4, financial management, 71% correctly. So my average test bank performance was about 69%. It was not a perfect score or even a passing score, but whenever I answered a question incorrectly, I read and understood why it was incorrect, and I stored that knowledge for future reference when I took my actual CIA exam. If you made it this far, thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing to Becoming Boss C. We officially hit 1,000 subscribers in August 2022, and I am elated. That was a huge milestone for the channel, and it could not have been accomplished without you. We are not done, however. Next up, we need 2,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe right now. There are even more ways to support the channel. You can visit the new Patreon page to set up monthly recurring payments in support of the channel, or you can hit the thanks button below to send a monetary gift. Other payment options and other ways to support the channel are listed in the video description below. Best wishes as you study for your exam. As always, stay blessed and stay boss C.